I'm Janeane. This is KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and this is Get the Funk Out. Standing by to join me is director Constantine Venetopoulos and Brendon Scholl. Did I pronounce that right, Brendon? Scholl?
Yep, sure.
Okay. I want to welcome them both to the show. We're going to talk about this incredible documentary. It's called Draw With Me, about the trans youth journey of Brendon Scholl, featuring Jennifer Lopez and President Joe Biden. It was so moving. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
How did you both meet?
You go ahead, Brendon, on your side.
We met through my mom. My mom was in one of Constantine's other films, Man in the Attic.
Okay.
She was singing an opera song because my mom, she's a singer. And sorry.
You're fine.
Constantine knows a family friend of ours, Marco Marangelo. I've known him as long as I've been alive. He's basically family.
Oh.
So they came over to our house for I think dinner or something. And Constantine and I met, and I showed him my room because I have murals all over my walls. And we just kind of sat on my floor, and I pulled out some art pieces and just started talking about my art. And one thing just kind of led to another.
Yeah.
So Constantine, here you were in Brendon's room.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It was quite a magical moment because, I was there and I was really excited. We were there invited for a dinner and everything, meeting the family. And me and Leslie had the movie in common that we were working on. So creatively, I'm in that little, as an artist, I'm in that headspace.
Sure.
And then suddenly I meet Brendon and I see their room and I'm I was so distracted in a sense, that's how I am with my films and my art. But then, it was we really connected and clicked and spoke, but I could feel that there was something there, immediately. The moment I was there, I was I'm not here randomly. I could tell that there was some reason that we were talking. Mm-hmm. And their art really had taken me away. And then we started talking. And then one of the drawings that Brendon showed me was kind of you could tell it was from a dark time. It was it's in the documentary, the one with the woods and all of that.
Right.
And I don't remember the exact conversation, but one thing led to another. And we spoke about the Trevor Project, which is the leading suicide prevention line for LGBTQ, which yes. I'm obsessed with. And I've been volunteering for over 10 years. And then Brendon also mentioned they had an experience with a Trevor, reaching out to it. And that's kind of what really started things, I would say.
And Brendon, you had an experience, I don't want to give too much away in the film, but you had an experience where you realized how much your friends really cared about you.
Yeah, it's with mental illness, it's really hard to try and because there's the part of your brain that's telling you that people don't care and no one cares about you and no one's paying attention to you.
Sure.
So to have a moment that was so starkly the opposite of that, being no, these people are here, they do love you and they do care about you.
Yes.
So soon after something that was such a culmination of the other side of how my brain is speaking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of was a moment of wow, I was really off. I was way off with what I was thinking. And that part is, it's kind of always there, unfortunately, with just the way that mental illness is. Even getting treatment, you're still kind of you learn to manage it, but it's still there.
Yes.
So I've kind of learned to like rely on my friends, and they're more family to me in my mind than they are friends. And I've learned to rely on them and not feel bad about reaching out and being like, hey, I need support. Can you guys just like tell me that you love me and like show me that you guys care about me?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to jump in here, and Brendon talks a lot about how their friends supported them and all of that, but with Brendon, it's really a two-way road from my experience. Like Brendon really is there for others, and especially with their activism and Draw With Me, but everything they're doing, it's not, they're not the type of person that are like reaching out for support but don't reciprocate. They reciprocate like really, really profoundly. And also, I wanted to mention one thing. This is because we talk about Brendon's family and Brendon's friends, but also, like, I don't know if you've noticed in the documentary, animals play a big role too, because Brendon loves animals, and I find that so like endearing. But because we shot the film kind of like in a family structure, it wasn't like, let's go to the school, let's go to your friend.
Yes.
So from a directorial perspective, for me, animals come in the visually when Brendon talks about the support. So that's too.
Have animals always played a role in your life?
Always, yeah. I've always had just this deep appreciation for animals, because the way that animals kind of behave is it's very understandable to me, because even animals who get called like aggressive, in my experience, they aren't so much, at least with like domesticated animals, they aren't so much aggressive as they are traumatized, and that they've been hurt and they're like, I need to protect myself.
Yes.
Which is kind of something that I can relate to. So like all of the pets that I have, they've all been like rescues, and they've all been like hurt in some way. So I kind of have that like camaraderie with all of my pets and just animals as a whole, where I feel for them.
You get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They also love you unconditionally, and they can't talk to you the way humans can.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I feel like the love we get from pets is so unmatched in any other capacity.
Your life of art is incredible. When did you first find yourself being so artistic?
I've kind of always been artistic. Like even since I was like a toddler, I would like draw on the walls, and I would draw on like the radiators.
Would your mom freak out or no?
All the time. They were like supportive of me being artistic, but not on the walls.
Yes.
So we had this like agreement where like they would let me draw on the radiators in all the rooms, like all around the house, as long as I didn't draw on the walls.
Okay.
And I was like, I can work with this.
Yes.
Okay. So the radiators just all over the place. They were like, had like crayon and marker all over the place. But I mean, I stopped drawing on the walls, so I guess that worked.
But your room was off. You could do whatever you wanted in your room, right?
Yeah. My room was my own. It was my own domain. So they're like,
I love that.
Crazy.
Which is an amazing way to be as a parent, to let their child be who they want to be. And how was it when you first? Well, your mom discovered what you were going through, didn't she?
Yeah. It was. I didn't really have a coming out in the traditional sense, where I didn't get to like sit down with my family and like tell them. It was very much an abrupt thing, because my mom, she like found my binder, and that was the whole like catalyst for my coming out. And I had come out to my friends already, so they were already knew, because I kind of they were with me with the journey when I first started questioning. Before I even knew that I was trans, I was like, hey guys, something's up. Like, what do you guys like? I need help.
Yeah.
But but it was like my mom was the first family member who really found out or really like knew anything about it.
And then your dad found out.
Yeah, then my mom told my dad, I think that night, but we didn't talk about it until like the next day.
Okay.
And my brother found out when we like sat down in my dad's room, and that's when my brother found out, because he didn't really have an idea. He had no clue what was going on. He was just like, my parents were like, we need to have a discussion. And he was like,
So he had no idea. Yeah.
He had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
He just knew that we were sitting down in my dad's room having a discussion about something. But yeah, it was pretty much a very, very intimate affair, and then we sent an email out to the rest of the family.
Now, how did you, your aunts played a role in this film, Jennifer Lopez. Your other aunt, her name is?
Linda.
Linda.
Yeah.
What was that like, having the support of them as well?
At the time, I was so focused on my immediate family and like the people who were directly around me that it honestly didn't even occur to me about like the rest of my family. It was like, oh, that's something so further down the line. I don't need to worry about it or think about it. So to kind of have their support was like, I don't want to say unexpected, because that's not the right word, but I wasn't anticipating it.
Okay. Yeah. And Constantine, you captured this so beautifully. What was it?
Which part do you mean?
The relationship with family members. I mean, having J-Lo be a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we were, it was very organic how everything kind of like came together, it really did start as like, for me, it's really like the mother and Brendon relationship is very like strong, because, Leslie Ann is also an educator. So, she teaches, and she's, from what I understand, Brendon, correct me if I'm wrong, but she really was part of the journey. Like, they went to support groups together, so it from what I understand, like, Leslie Ann was like, it's her life, it's her kid, and it's her life, how to handle it the best. And of course the father and the whole family got involved. But I think it kind of organically came together how all the members of the family really joined. Like, Linda is an Emmy award-winning journalist, and we had this idea, could you maybe ask Brendon some questions, because who better journalist than your aunt, So it was very organic. And then, the grandmothers were also a big part of the story, because, they're the previous generation. Sometimes it takes time to adapt, to society evolving. So that was like a very interesting and emotional part of it as well. And then, of course, Jennifer's support was massive. Her platform reaches like, anyone, like so many people, and she really put like a lot of heart in it. You can tell it's not something.
You can see the emotion.
Yeah. And also, just recently, like the inauguration, and
I know Joe Biden, how did that happen?
And then for me, it's like, it's a small part of the equation, but for me, it's like everything is clicking together. Is one day after the election, not after the inauguration.
Yes.
The White House, and Linda shared it. That's the first place I saw it, was that the White House announced on their platform that they now have the they, them, theirs pronouns on contact forms. So it all kind of like, and then the ban on the military, the trans people in the military was lifted. Like, it's really like, it's like one thing after another happening. So I think
time.
I'll talk for both Brendon and I. I think we're both proud to be a small part of whatever all of that movement is.
Yes. I shared with you before we started, I grew up in Manhattan, and my mother was a therapist. And I remember at one point she was bringing these different people home to our apartment, and I could see they were not comfortable in their own skin. And I later learned, she would tell me, and I was young, oh, this is Brian, but Brian wants to be a girl. So I'm going to teach Brian how to walk like a girl, talk like a girl, do Brian's makeup and hair. And these became our friends. And it's just the life I grew up with. And so I couldn't understand why people wouldn't accept them unconditionally. When they had to sneak off, meet with my mom and become the person they wanted to become, it was really heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time.
Yeah, I always feel like I'm really lucky, given the time
Yes.
that I have grown up and the time that I'm living in.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we still have a ways to go. There's still a lot of battles that we need to fight. But I also know that it's like I have a deep appreciation for everyone who's come before me.
Mm-hmm.
And every trans person who has fought along the way and who has just lived as themselves is just like, yes, there's another person who has lived through what I'm going through and who has like had a full life.
Yes.
Even in a world that is less accepting than the one that I'm living in.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of look to like my predecessors as like, if they can do it, I can do it too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I am the culmination of their efforts and my ability to come out and have support and not constantly be afraid. Which isn't to say that I do get afraid sometimes, depending on the world and where I am, but that I don't have to be afraid all the time is like, that's their work, like showing its effect.
And I feel, Constantine, that you captured Brendon's transparency, his willingness, excuse me, by saying him. You go by them and their, correct?
They, them, or he, him. Either's fine.
Okay. You captured Brendon's whole being. It was so beautiful. And the struggles. And, you know, Brendon's not afraid to just show the emotion because it's such a roller coaster ride.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, I feel like, you know, it wasn't, you know, this was not a director for hire kind of thing. You know, this was like, it came from within me and from within Brendon, and we just told their story together. And, you know, and I really like looked at all their art and saw it as a foundation to tell their story. So, you know, like from the art on their walls to the drawings to even Brendon drawing as we were talking, which made them feel more comfortable, you know, kind of like I really looked into their world. And, you know, I had an amazing team, you know, that helped make it. You know, one of the things with a documentary such as this one is it's not just the directorial talent, or it's, first of all, it's the story and the people, but it's more, you know, how to make everyone feel safe and comfortable in really opening up, you know. So that's, I feel like that was really my job, to just make Brendon feel comfortable, make, you know, Linda feel comfortable, the mother, you know. And Brendon's brother is in the we shot, but Brendon's brother was a little shy, like to talk too much. So it's funny. But one thing that he said was, I was like, so tell me about Brendon and coming out and all. And he was just like, you know, Brendon was annoying before, Brendon is annoying still. Like, you know, and I was like, okay, that's actually really funny and cute, but it's like, I need more, you know?
You need a bloopers reel.
Exactly. It's like, I have siblings, and that's probably what my older brother would say, you know?
Exactly.
In a loving way. How
do you feel, Constantine, now that the film is out?
I feel, you know, one thing that to mention that was a real highlight for us was Brendon spoke a little bit before about our predecessors doing all the legwork for us to be able to be open. And I just wanted to say, like, right now, today, it feels that it's not just okay to be yourself. Like, and for Brendon, it's not just okay to be trans, it's actually celebrated.
Yes, it is.
You know, it's celebrated to be yourself, and it's celebrated that you are standing in front of the line and openly talking about your issues and where things are going, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, a highlight for us was, you know, we were at the United Nations during the 50th Stonewall anniversary,
Oh, right.
and the film was the subject of a conversation. It was the first transgender health panel at the United Nations. So, you know, that was something very important to us. But the film being out there, and also Jennifer posting about it and all of that, and people learning about it, is really valuable. And, you know, and we're now an official Oscar entry, which is like crazy.
Bravo.
And you know, and you know,
Amazing.
it's crazy. But 22 years ago, there was a short film called Trevor. It was a fiction short film about coming out, a kid coming out and their like journey.
Okay.
And it won the Oscar 22 years ago, and that short film became the foundation for the Trevor Project.
Oh, I didn't know this.
So, you know, so to me, like, in addition to how cool would it be and all of that, it's also really, really interesting, really, oh, sorry, someone's starting drilling next door.
Okay.
But what I want to say is, like, the power of like the Academy to decide what messages are worth being spoken about, and how something like that could create a film, turn a film into an educational platform in a sense.
It's beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like people to know about you, Brendon?
I don't know.
How do you feel with the film being out and, you know, people seeing it, and it's wonderful?
The wildest thing to me is seeing people that I like went to high school with like message me and be like, "Hey, I saw your film," and I was like, "You did?" And like, yeah, it was really good. And I was like, "I have not spoken to you in 2 years, but that's cool.
Yeah.
What's up?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, it was really good. I think it was really important." And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Excellent.
And then we just continued to not talk to each other. And I was like,
Of course.
cool.
But it's great. It's great. Where can people find out more about you and the film, both of you?
The film is currently on Arena. It's yeah, I have to look it up, but it's all over the social media. It's like people can watch it on an online cinema.
Okay. Yeah. Draw With Me, it's called.
Yes.
And I have the trailer up on my show blog, which is getthefunkoutshow.kuci.org. By the way, the show is called Get the Funk Out because people go through all kinds of things in life. And my guests tend to share things that are very inspiring. So before we wrap, any advice you'd give to somebody who is struggling right now, Brendon?
I'd say to hang in there. And I know it sucks a lot right now, and I know it's really hard and things don't seem like they're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But they do. There's going to be a moment like maybe next week, maybe a month, who knows from now, where you're just going to be, I'm so glad that I'm alive. I'm so glad that I'm here to see this. Maybe it's you just saw a really nice like butterfly. Maybe you're just enjoying laughing with your friends. But there's going to be that moment you're like, I'm so glad I'm here for this. And you got to be there to see it.
Yes. And perhaps if they thought about becoming artistic, now would be the time.
Oh yeah, it's never too late to just start creating.
Yes. What about you, Constantine? Any advice you'd give people?
I would like to share an advice I heard that was really helpful for me, and I learned a lot. when we were doing a screening of the film, my brother asked, after watching the documentary, he asked one of the counselors there, what should I say if my kid tells me they're trans or they're gay? Like, he was nervous. He's like, how do I and what they said is, it's not what you should say, it's just listen to them.
Yes.
So I think people rush to give advice, and we think, I'm 40, so I know more, and I've studied about LGBTQ. And the reality is, it's not about teaching. At that point, people don't want to be taught, because they could learn on a book.
Yes.
What they want is to be heard and supported.
Yes. And listen to, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed meeting both of you, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I will, this will be up as video and audio in the show blog, and then it'll air on my live show.
Cool.
I just wanted to say it's the Arena, one second, Arena Screen. Arena Screen, that's where they can see it? People can watch it on Arena Screen, yes.
Oh, I see it. I actually have a link on here. So Draw With Me just launched its national virtual theatrical release at Arena Screen. I've got the link on here through
It's
February 9th.
February 5th. Until February 5th.
I had February 9th. Okay, I'll correct that. It was the subject of the first ever panel at the United Nations on transgender.
That's the one. Thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful meeting both of you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, Brendon. Bye. Nice to meet you.
Be well. Bye-bye.